All right, hello wine drinking people. Time for more of what I've had to drink yesterday. And I love it when somebody comes in the store with the wine that I haven't tasted in a while, like Fieldstone, you know? Just like seeing an old friend that you really like and man, you hadn't seen for a while. You get caught up. And these are wines from the Alexander Valley. This is a property that first started, I think they bought the property in like the 50s. And they first started living there in the 60s. And the 70s, they started planting grapevines there. And Andrei Chelichev, the great Andrei Chelichev from BV, was brought in as a consultant. And he said, man, you have to keep this Petit Syrah, first of all, because it's one of the greatest Petit Syrah. It's like 100-year-old plus vines of Petit, the best wine they make at Fieldstone. Not the most popular wine, but still amazing stuff. And they said, you got to plant Merlot here. This is great for Merlot, Bordeaux varietals, Cabernet Sauvignon. And they do some Sauvignon Blanc, and they also do some Chardonnay, which is not from their estate vineyards, and they've sold off some of their vineyards recently, but still making great wines. It's amazing tasting through this lineup of wines, the value that you can get from producers in Sonoma, like Fieldstone, like the Cabernet from Alexander Valley. I mean, when I heard the price on that, $20, $22.50 is our list price. Wow, and they're no longer making the Staten Family Reserve, so the grapes that were going into that wine are now in this Alexander Valley cab. Awesome wine and a great little value. We started out with the Convivio, which is a one I never had before from them. This is a daily drinker. The white's a blend of Sauvignon Blanc, Gewürztraminer, and they only make about 8,000 cases of this. They don't make a ton of any of these wines. And this is the property also, one thing it's known for is they shot the old Bartles and James wine coolers commercials there. And 50 acres planted here. And they planted the grapes, I'm sorry, in the 50s and 60s. Wow. So I thought it was the 70s. But good thing I take notes on these things. All right. White grapefruit and honeysuckle floral notes. Notes of stone and mineral to this wine. Also nice succulent melon and honeysuckle fruit. Notes of salt and mineral also. Really fruity, but with good balance and freshness. It's a nice little wine for $15 for every day. The Sauvignon Blanc, this wine always really nice. A little musky note, green melon fruit, some tropical pink grapefruit, citrus notes, hints of fresh baled hay in there also. Jim Reed now owns this vineyard. This is one of the vineyards that they did sell. Was their vineyard, but they still manage the production on it. He's a good friend of the family. A lot of volcanic ash and clay on the property, so you do notice that earthy, that minerality coming through in the wine. This wine's got a nice texture for Sauvignon Blanc, which sometimes can be a little light. This one's got a solid core of melon and green fig fruit, and that slight musky note and a briny note to the finish, leaving the wine salivating for food. Very good stuff. The Chardonnay from Hopkins River Ranch. Ben Hopkins is the owner of this vineyard. They've been working with him for a long time. One of John Staton's good friends also. They do about 50% malolactic on this wine. And it changes every year based on the vintage. They don't have a specific recipe that they use. All French oak used. Some of it's neutral, not new, and really rich wine on the tongue. The notes of creme brulee, vanilla bean spice, less tropical fruit, peaches, apples. Really nice richness and complexity on the nose, and coming through on the palate, rich and creamy as well, but still restrained and balanced. Got a nice freshness to the finish, that vanilla spice and creme caramel notes coming through along with some minerality. Very good stuff at $27. And then the Convivio Red, which is Sangiovese in California. Well, they planted 1 acre there, and they like to plant more. I guess people like this wine. It's Cabernet Merlot, and you know, it's got a nice amount of red cherry and red wild strawberry fruit, which reminds me of the Sangiovese, some loamy notes. But whenever you put Cabernet with Sangiovese, it kind of takes over. A little milk chocolate spice in this wine as well. Really easy drinking wine with a soft, smooth finish. A good little wine at $15. I like the white, actually. Well, I like them both as good. Nice little entry-level wines, everyday wines. The Fieldstone Merlot, only 750 cases of this wine made. Like I said, these are really small estate bottle, artisan-crafted wine. Some nice fresh plowed earth and fine herbs in this. A little dark cocoa to the dark cherry and plummy fruit on the nose. Nice structure on the palate for this wine. Merlot makes some of the greatest wines in the world. Also makes some of the most underwhelming. It's got a bad name from being overcropped and planted in the wrong places in California. But this one in the right place. You notice some lovely complexity to this wine on the finish, cigar box spice, and some good structure in this wine as well. Very good stuff at $20. And then Cabernet Sauvignon, Alexander Valley. This is 100% Cabernet, but 3 different clones. They make about 800 cases of this wine. It's got a lovely dark currant and cherry fruit. Nice amount of ripe forward fruit on the nose with sweet tobacco spice, some loamy earthy notes. A really nice complexity to the bouquet here. Rich and velvety wine on the tongue with ripe and round tannins. Currant berry fruit showing through. Nice sweet tobacco spice. Some dry tannins on the finish and some good minerality. But this wine's got a lot of everything. Lovely balance. An excellent bottle of Cabernet for $22.50. Wow, try to find a wine like that from Napa. Fieldstone Staten Family Reserve. This is $40 for their reserve, and I've always thought the Staten Family Reserve one of the best wines made in Sonoma. These are clippings from Heights and the BV1 vineyards, some of the old Cabernet clones, and really deep, dark cherry liqueur-like fruit, cassis and currants. Nice forward seductive nature to this wine. Dark chocolate, some fresh plowed earth. Really nice complexity in the wine here. Definitely a step up from the Alexander Valley, but I don't know if it's that big of a step up or double the wine. That's the problem. The Alexander Valley wine, such a great value. Maybe that's why they stopped making this Alexander Valley Staten Family Reserve, but still really nice and nuanced and lovely, elegant style of Cabernet Sauvignon and nice complexity. Like I said, definitely a step up from the Alexander Valley. And then the big boy, the Staten Family Reserve Petite Syrah. This vineyard's over 100 years old, and some really gnarly looking old vines. What happens when your vineyard gets to be that old? It produces a tiny amount of fruit, and this is one of the benchmarks for this varietal in California. Really dark and opaque color, dark blackberry fruit, soy, exotic black spices, really complex bouquet. Just continues to open up as this wine airs out. I had it on my desk all day yesterday. A big and juicy wine on the tongue with firm tannins. These Petite Syrahs can be a little monster. A lovely peppery spice in this wine, but still nice freshness to this wine and balance for such a big wine that's a little over the top, but pretty floral notes on the finish. Just like I said, more nuance coming out as this wine opened up. Most excellent juice. Definitely the wine of the day. The same price as the Staten Family Reserve. That's what we had to drink with our friends from Fieldstone Winery. I'm your host, Andrew Lampasoni, signing off for the Wine Watch, saying remember, always drink the good stuff first.